In this help video, I'd like to look at how to place our DP or decision point level on our chart in TradingView. Select the decision point script. I've got them displayed in the top left hand corner like this. In a separate help video, we'll show you how to do that without all the titles running along the top, but that's in a separate video. So I want to go to the decision point script, double click on it, and up comes in our input window. You have several options for how you want to choose the pivot you wish to display the DP from. It's under the DP selection. So what I'll do is I'll just enable the DP level, and I'll just look at the options we have here. You can do it off the last pivot, which is the last pivot swing high, low, or there, which could be handy for quickly displaying off there, or you can do for pivots back. So if I choose pivots back, you can then increment the number of pivots back. You can see here it says pivots back pivot number. So if I increment this, can you see how now it's calculating off, in this case, 2 pivots back, 3 pivots back, from this pivot 4 pivots back, from here 5 pivots back. So we're calculating off this level, so 5 pivots back. So there's an option you can do there. You can also do off the bar number, which is the actual number of the bars there, or the one I like to use is the pivot number, this one here, the pivot number. So I'll just clear this off and I'll show you how you can find out what the pivot numbers are. At the top here it says display pivot labels, so if I click on this, it will then display the pivot number for each of the pivots. You can easily see which pivot number is. So if I wanted to display a DP off this pivot, you can see this is pivot number 687. It also gives you what the bar number is there as well. Can you see that in the tooltip? If I place the cursor over there, it shows you that's pivot number 687 and bar number 7076. So if I wanted to do from the pivot number here, I select pivot number, then I type in 687 and do OK, and you can see it displays from there. Go back into the menu. You can then at that point turn the display pivot labels off to clear up the chart a bit, to make it a bit easier. The benefit of using the pivot number is because that is static. In other words, that stays the same. As new data comes in, that pivot number will stay at 687 as more pivots come in. So it means this won't change. The disadvantage of using the pivots back is as new data comes in, new pivots will be created. So obviously the pivots back from the last or the current point has the possibility to actually change. So that's why the one I prefer to use is the pivot number, then display pivot labels so you can choose which pivot number to actually place the DP off. We have an option to do several DP levels, so you can actually do enable decision point 2 if you wanted to, and here I'm just going to do pivot number, and I'm going to place it off that high there, 688, 688, do OK, and you can see there's the DP off that level. So you have the option to place up to 5 DPs on the chart. Just going to take that off to clear up the labels. So as you can see, it's really easy to then place the DPs on and to then choose which pivot number to do. One thing we do suggest is once you've placed the DP level on your particular chart, don't leave the DPs on when you change time frame, because the script in TradingView will then recalculate when you go to the different time frames, so it will actually change where your DP is. So if you wanted to keep this DP level on your chart as it is here, what we suggest you do is go to the Tools menu down the left hand side and click on the arrow there to bring up the Tools menu, and then you grab a rectangle. So do a rectangle, then place the rectangle around where the DP level is. So if I place the rectangle around here, you can see there it is at the exact same level as our DP. If I highlight that tool, you then have the option up at the top here. Here's your tool menu. You can click on the cog and you can actually put in a label if you wish, just so you know what it is. There's the label, and we also suggest that you lock it. Can you see that padlock there? If you lock it, that means you can't accidentally move it when you change time frames. So the benefit of this is, now I've placed the rectangle at the same level as the DP, I'm just going to now go and turn the DPs off by unticking both of them, so they're turned off. So of course that rectangle is now left on the chart. So now if I go down to the shorter time frame, can you see how that level is left on the chart for you? So in this way you can see how on this particular chart here, the Euro JPY, we had daily DP support, and you can see how on the 4-hourly chart the market reversed nicely at that level there. So it just allows you to leave the area of the DP on the chart as you change time frames. So as you can see, it's just really nice and easy to do. If you then wanted to place other DPs on the chart, you can then double click on the DP script, then come back and place the levels on as you wish. So just to review, the options you have are the last pivot, the pivots back, and obviously that number has to be relative to where the pivots back are. Just go back into it again. Or you have my favorite, which is the pivot number. To find out what the pivot number is, you display pivot labels, and therefore there you can see the pivot number. It also has the bar number as well when you hover over it. Once you've just chosen the pivot number you wish, then place once the DP is on that chart, so let's place it on for 687 again. 687. And there's the DP on again. And once it's on the chart, you can then turn off the display labels to make it a bit easier, and then go to your rectangle there, place the rectangle around it, lock that rectangle, and then once you've done that, you can then turn your DPs off and then change your time frames. So really easy way to place DPs on your chart with several different options for choosing the pivots.